welcome. After the morning of October 7, many individuals from all walks of life led initiatives related to our need to support the communities in the Negev. Today you are going to hear about 5 projects led by 5 members of Ben-Gurion community. I'm Yaniv Belhassan. I'm a member of the Department of Hotel, Tourism and Leisure Management in Ben-Gurion in the past 16 years. In October 7, I was in Budapest, near Budapest, in a cemetery, looking for the tomb of Herzl family. I was there with my friend, Dr. Adas Kedar, who is a relative of Theodor Herzl. She asked me to join her family for a genealogical tour, to be the driver. And while we are looking for the tomb of Herzl family, her twin, her son, knew that I'm originally from Ofakim and started showing me footages from the Negev, also pictures and short videos from Ofakim, from the battle held in the city of my hometown. Right now I live in Beersheba, but this is where my parents live and where I grew up. We were all shocked, but to be honest, we didn't understand the magnitude, like many of us, of the event. When we came back to Budapest, I made a phone call to my parents. I realized, I understood that they are alive. The battle, Mishor Geffen, is very close to where they live. I also realized that my family, my cousins in Nir Oz and Nir Yitzchak, kibbutzim along the Gaza border, also somehow miraculously survived with their kids. But not all of my friends survived from the Negev. In Ofakim specifically, in Mishor Geffen, 52 people died in that morning, including residents and policemen that lived in this neighborhood. Ofakim, some background about Ofakim for those of you not familiar with this not anymore small development town, what we call in Israel development town. Ofakim was established in 1955 by the Israeli government to absorb mainly immigrants from Muslim countries. My parents, my grandparents, the parents of my mother came with their 5 sons and daughters in 1955. In fact, they are one of the founders of the city, one of the 20 families that established the city. My mother was 5 years old. This is where my parents met. The family of my father came in 1962, also from Tunis. My father worked in the Gaza, in the civil administration that Israel established in Gaza in 1967. You can see him here, with a Bedouin sheikh in Dir el-Balach. My mother worked in the textile at the beginning, in the late 60s, in the textile factory of Ofar, which was it was the major employer in the city. Here she is, in her early 20s. Later on, she worked for 25 years in the cultural center in the city. I was fortunate. Both my parents had a job. But Ofakim never had a good reputation in the Israeli society. And for those of you who are from Israel, you will agree with me. With high rate of unemployment, the media usually cover the city with stories about poverty, drug dealing, criminal activity, and poor education system. So I was not really proud of my hometown. When I was 12, like many of my generation, I left to a boarding school to Jerusalem. Me and my brother left when we were 12. And as my father said, I never came back. This other picture from the family, today and back then. Coming back to October 7, a week later, I was there in Europe for academic conferences, and when they were over, luckily I had a flight with El Al, so I could come back. I went to visit all my friends and relatives that were now evacuated in Eilat. Ofakim was never evacuated. And a friend, a colleague of mine from Tel Aviv, Professor Nurit Schnebel, with whom I did research in the past about the connection between victimhood and peace activism. She made a phone call, and she asked if my family in Ofakim is okay, and to tell me that she is coming to volunteer in Ofakim with one person, Yahaloma Zchut. I heard about Yahaloma. She's a very famous social activist in the city, but I never met her. And Nurit asked me to join her, to give her a ride because the train station didn't work in Ofakim. It was still a war. So she came to Beersheba and we drove together. I met Yahaloma in the street, and I also met this wonderful woman, mostly privileged woman from the center of Israel that Yahaloma knew, and they came to volunteer with her in a project she named Mechabkot et Ofakim. And the project was immediately after the terror attack in the city. The city was never evacuated. What we did there, we mapped the needs of the people in the neighborhood. It's a mixture of lower and middle class neighborhood. Many of the people in the neighborhood worked in the Gaza, Moshavim and Kibbutzim, which were now evacuated. To begin with, this neighborhood has a high rate of unemployment. So the situation was devastating on the one hand. On the other hand, what I met in Ofakim, because I joined the project, of course, I immediately fall in love with Yahaloma, here with the yellow shirt. I met there also many forms of heroism. People like Yahaloma and other policemen that live in the neighborhood and died in that morning, that left their home with their flip-flop to protect their city and their neighbor. And actually, it's 52 people that died, but it was a miracle. At one point, Yahaloma asked me to help her to coordinate two groups that want to come to volunteer in Ofakim, in a project. Because the project was funded, I have to say, from the Jewish Agency. We gave some money to buy grocery for some families. This is how I met Jeff Kay and his office. I didn't know Jeff. So the two groups came, they did the mapping out, and later on, Jeff also asked me to join him for a solidarity tour of some of you. I saw some familiar faces in the streets of Ofakim. And at one point, he asked me if I want to do something in the city. And I thought about the teenager, so he allocated budget. And I developed 3 projects in the city with teenagers, all related to the way tourism and leisure can be utilized to bolster community resilience. And I specifically choose to work with teenagers because this is what I had in mind for my graduate study in University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, the way they teach leisure as a platform for resilience. I'm going to speak about one of the projects. We name it after Yasmin Zohar. Yasmin studied with me my first degree in tourism management here in Ben Gurion. And recently we came back to be in contact because she started a master's degree and wrote a thesis in the Department of Education. And since the project was related to tourism and education, we thought that I thought it will be an honor to name it after her. Yasmin was murdered with her husband Yaniv and her 2 daughters in Kibbutz Nachal Oz in her shelter in that bloody morning. What we did in this project that I will tell you about is to help the student develop urban tour, or community, what we call in tourism, community-based tourism. Tourism that is based on local narrative about the heritage of the city, the culinary diversity of the city, the ethnic diversity in the city. The student collect narrative, collect interesting places, and build a tour. Now we want to expand this project to develop more units of education, all related to the way tourism and leisure can bolster the pride of the student. I want to end, although it's very difficult to be optimistic in these days when we still have hostages and people are still not living in their home in the north and in the south. I want to end with optimistic note about the way this tragic event made me to reconnect, to see my story as an allegory. the way this tragedy caused me to reconnect with my hometown and with my heritage and with my root. And I hope, first I'm thankful for the university to support my journey and this tree project. And I hope this is maybe a new chapter of Zionism in the Negev with other, Ofakim and other development towns that usually are out of the limelight of the story of Zionism in the Negev. And I hope that the university will keep its involvement in the development and resurrection of other development towns in the Negev. Thank you.
Can I just add that every single shekel that Yaniv and the team was released and given by all of you, so give yourself.
Thank you. I want to invite Dr. Talia Tayari from the Department of Social Work.
Thank you so much, Yaniv. Meet Julie. On the 7th of October, she and her family were locked for more than 24 hours in the safe room in Kibbutz Alumim until they were evacuated in the trucks of the army to Netanya. Her children experienced sirens since the day they were born. But nothing prepared them for weeks and weeks in the evacuation center without knowing when they will be coming back home. On the 9th of October, I arrived at Shfaim Evacuation Center. 10 minutes from my home, I met people with no home who survived the massacre. The night before, me and my colleague Efrat organized hundreds of social workers from across the country to arrive at multiple evacuation centers in Shfaim, the Dead Sea, the Sea of Galilee, Eilat, you name it. Each one with a story that you could hardly comprehend. In the evacuation centers, we met families with children abducted in Gaza. Each story, each family was unique, but us, social workers, psychologists, soldiers, try to figure out to make sure that each survivor receives immediate help. But how can we manage the care of so many evacuees? By now, almost 500,000 from south to north. How can we help each family deal with this trauma without an easy way to connect with those who are supposed to help them, without telling their stories over and over again? How can we help Julie coordinate between her older child therapeutic writing, her younger child's speech therapy, and her father replacement of the oxygen tank? In the AI for Social Welfare Research Lab, we look for solutions for challenges in social work and trauma interventions. So I knew that I had to come up with some idea for this mess, for some solution. We needed a solution that will manage the needs of the evacuees, help coordinate the service providers, and help the local authorities find the evacuees and the service providers. And this is it. The Resilience Wraparound Network System. This is how it works. The system has 3 users. The first one is the evacuee and the household user. In their easy-to-use app, they can send instant messages to the service providers and to the different department of the local council. They can tell them that they're sitting Shiva outside with their family outside of the evacuation center, and tell them where social workers can provide them with grief therapy. They can also instantly and easily connect with the department of the education department of the local council to raise specific issues like children with special needs that doesn't have a proper education setting. The second user is the service provider's user. Because it connects all the service providers for each family in a shared data-secure space in the app, it saves them plenty of time in connecting with each other. They can also synchronize the help for each family in the app. For instance, if the social worker recognizes that one of the children needs a computer or a specific medicine to go to school, she can easily locate and connect the pediatrician or the teacher and help the child receive what she needs easily and quickly. The third user is a live war room dashboard for the local authority that gathers all the critical information from the evacuee and the service provider's app. It gives the local authority all the data that they need to make decisions in real time. It gives them essential data like elderly who are homebound or household with reservists. So it helps them allocate resources and identify issues before they become problems. In the future, the Resilience Wraparound Network System can be a game changer for all large-scale disasters. This is what we mean when we say Tikkun Olam. Thank you. And now, another initiative that focuses on the economic needs of the evacuees. Please welcome Shir from Negev Prime.
Thank you, Talia. So hello, everyone. I'm Shir. I'm the Executive Director of Negev Prime. And as Talia said, I'm going to talk about the economic aspect.
מאז 7 באוקטובר הוא מגויס. החנות נשארה מאחור, הפיצויים לא הספיקו, והפור נפל. השבוע יצא במבצע לחסל את הסחורה, לאחר מכן ינעל את הדלתות ויסגור את העסק.
אמרתי, טוב, אני לא אכנס לחובות ועדיף לסגור אותו ולראות מפה מה אני עושה הלאה. אם זה עוד חודש, חודשיים, שהמלחמה תסתיים, אני לא יודע.
So this video demonstrates the real-life impact on businesses and evacuees and reservists that had to battle in Gaza, and eventually they couldn't manage their business. So they were forced to shut down their business. And this is just one example out of many examples of people that were financially harmed during the events of October 7th. So as I said, till this point, we've talked about the social aspect and the mental aspect and the possible solution, and I'm here to talk about the solution of the economy problem. So if you can see here the statistics, there are beyond 50% of businesses all over the nation that reported that they lost more than half of their revenue. And about 60% of businesses here in the South reported that they were on a brink of closure. So this is like really hard numbers. And I was thinking, how can I help in that situation? And then I realized that I already kind of have the solution. I just need to make some adaptations. And this solution is called Negev Prime. So Negev Prime is a practical training program that teaches its participants to open an online business on Amazon. It's located in the Yazamut 360 Center, our entrepreneurship center. And in this program, we teach all of our participants to start their own business, literally from scratch. You don't need to come with any prior knowledge. So this originally program is aimed for students, residents of the Negev, and local businesses. And originally, this program was established out of the understanding that Amazon now is the largest marketplace in the world, the largest store. I assume that you know that. And as I said, there's a large potential here, and we realized that we can help local people here to penetrate to this marketplace and to create an income and employment. So how do we do this? We have few mentors. This is one of our mentors. He was also a reservist back then a few months ago. And we help them to establish their own business from zero. As I said, at the beginning, we teach them how to do product research and how to negotiate with suppliers in China, and eventually how to manage an ongoing business. So this is how we do this. And our alumni eventually either establish their business or either getting a new profession with the skills that they acquired in our program. And I want to tell you about my story. I graduated last year from Ben-Gurion University. I studied neuroscience and chemistry. And I was worried about my employment next year and how can I create an income. And then I was introduced to this amazing program. And I established by myself a business. Today I'm selling, as you can see here, this wooden cupcake stand. And I know what you're thinking. How can you create an income from a wooden cupcake stand? But it is possible, and this is the answer. These are the numbers. As you can see, beyond, thank you. As you can see, beyond 80,000 searches for the term cupcake stands on Amazon per month, and beyond $1.2 million that this market rolls. And the average revenue is $25,000. So it's not about the product, it's about the business and the opportunity that you can recognize. And this is exactly what we teach in Negev Prime, our participants. And we started thinking, how can we, as I said, help in that situation? And I want to tell you about one of my participants at this current cohort. Originally, he's from Sderot, and he had a local business in Sderot, and there was one rocket that was fired from Gaza directly to his warehouse. And all of his inventory was totally destroyed. And he told me, Shir, this is exactly the thing that I need to do right now. I need to recover and to recalculate my next steps, and eventually maybe to create even a bigger business and to transform my local business here to Amazon. And currently he's working with one of our mentors, and they're making this transformation, and I hope that at the end he will can create a new income and bigger income compared to what he had before. So as I said, I realized that we already have the tools, we already have the capabilities, we just need to adjust them. And next year we're going to focus on evacuees, business owners, and reservists, as we saw at the video before. And how are we going to do this? We have mentors, as I said, and we're going to send them to evacuees hotels. And all the content is going to be accessible online. Everyone can consume it from all over the country. And we're going to offer free consultation meetings for local businesses to test and to examine if there's any possibility to expand to Amazon in the US. And if it will fit, we will happily and we will be glad to help them to transform their business to the US. So I want to summarize and say that we're here to talk about the economic aspect and to empower the economic resilience. And I think that from the devastating reality that we saw here, we can create even something bigger, and not just to recover, but even if I'm looking like few years from now, I hope to see a lot of businesses that are creating bigger income and recovering, and you know that everything that we saw here will be history. Thank you. So I want to invite up next Oren from the Department of Emergency Medicine.
Hi, so nice to see so many nice faces. Thank you, Shir. In addition to my role in the Department of Emergency Medicine, I also do shifts in our local EMS station as part of our students' clinical clerkship. And on October 7th, like so many Israelis, I was at home with my family, and suddenly we hear the alarm. We live just here in Be'er Sheva, and we went into the safe room that fortunately we have inside our house. And after a few minutes, I started to understand that this is a different event. This is not something that we are unfortunately used to. And after a couple of minutes, I received a message from the local EMS station, arrive at the station if you can. So I arrived at the station. I took intensive care ambulance, and I started taking calls. The first call was to the entrance to Ofakim that Yaniv just talked about. I remember this call not just because it was the first call and we started to understand that something is very wrong. They told me to stop the ambulance and that I'm going to receive a policeman that was shot in his neck. That was the message. Fortunately, when I received the policeman, he was shot in his neck, but he was not critically injured. With him, another woman came to us, and we started treating him, and I suddenly realized that the police woman is actually more seriously injured than her friend. She had 2 fingers amputated, she had another bullet wound, but she said nothing. She said nothing because she was more worried about her friend than thinking about herself. This is just one story of bravery I can tell you from this day. As you can imagine, it was a complicated day for us, and we came back and forth to Soroka taking soldiers, but also policemen and civilian. After a few hours, I received a message from the military that we are going to be deployed, and at 10 p.m. I finished the shift and went to the military for 125 days. And actually yesterday we were called again. This is why I'm in uniform. When we were deployed, I had 3 questions in my head. Because as the paramedic in my unit, I'm also responsible for training. And when we deployed, and you know, we understood this is going to be a different event, the first concern I had was that we need to work as a team. And our unit, we meet once a year for a couple of weeks. This is my unit, by the way. As we speak, they are here in the Medical Simulation Center training. I'll explain in a moment. So I knew we need to work as a team, and you need to train to work as a team. This is not something that just happens. Second problem that I knew that we were going to have is that our unit is comprised mostly of medics. They are not professionals. I mean, they are professionals, professional cooks, professional engineers. Many of them are students, but they are not professional medics. And I knew that we have to be very sharp, and we have to train them the best we can, because they don't treat patients on a daily basis, only in the military. Last thing that was in my mind was that this is not just about giving treatment to patients. So, you know, one of our medics can be really good at putting a tourniquet. We can teach them that. You can see them doing it here on models. But doing it under fire, doing it when somebody shoots at you, is a completely different story. We call it tactical medicine. This is a whole branch of medical treatment in emergency medicine. So thinking about these dilemmas, I suddenly understood, like so many problems in life, that the solution is just in front of me. The Field Medical Simulation Center, that I know that many of you have visited, and if you didn't visit the Medical Simulation Center, I encourage you to come and visit when you have a chance. Since the university was closed at that time, we can bring soldiers to train. And my unit came to train. It was a huge success, such a success that where we were drafted yesterday and we're deploying tomorrow, all the guys said, you have to bring us back to train before we deploy in the Medical Simulation Center. And they are just right there, they are now training. So this didn't end with my unit. We had more than 400 IDF soldiers trained in the Medical Simulation Center. We had 150 physicians from Soroka who usually don't do trauma care. We had them do intensive training to provide trauma care, to be prepared. And this is going to expand. And we are doing more tactical training. And I really look forward to what's going to happen with this advancement. I can really say proudly that this would not happen anywhere else, and it didn't happen anywhere else, because of the mindset, because of the flexibility, and because of the BGU spirit that I believe in. Hopefully we would have to train for other things, but we are going to be prepared because we have this amazing tool that many of you here were a part of building it and with our process. So thank you very much. I would like to invite Galit. Galit.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
I'm staying for a few minutes. Okay?
Yes, you can stay. Hello, everyone. I'm the head of the Biomaterial and 3D Printing Laboratory. And my research is focused on developing patient-specific medical solutions. Since my student and I value the advantages of 3D printing technology, we volunteer from the 7th of October to help Soroka Medical Center and to the Army. Actually, Oren, you and I, we met through a connection of the university rector, Professor Chaim Hames. He connected us. He thought that it would be a good idea for us to discuss, and this led to this brilliant collaboration. So, Oren, I think we met on one of your breaks from the Army. I think it was Thursday.
Yes.
And then you explained to me the challenges that you are facing, you and the medical teams are facing in the military.
So one of the challenges that we had, and this would sound maybe unbelievable, but you see this glass ampule. In the military, we carry all the good stuff, the drugs, the fentanyl, the morphine, the ketamine. We carry it in our pockets. So it stays close to us because we need to control it and so on. And we used to carry it literally in our pockets. And when you carry a glass ampoule in your pocket, especially in the military, you can imagine what happens. They break all the time. And this, of course, is something that we don't want to happen, not just because it's a controlled drug, but because we need it to treat patients. So I explained to Galit about this because this was something that I was dealing with every day. And I saw the lab, and what was your idea?
So our solution was to develop a case that will fit the size of the pocket and will protect the ampoules from breaking. So this is the first model we developed. And actually, we prepared it within 2 days. So on Sunday, we had a few boxes to give you, the cases, and we delivered it to the field to get some feedback in order to improve the model. And I think you got one.
Yes, I got one, not this design, the first prototype.
Design, yes.
And I actually got to use it on a critical patient in 48 hours. Yeah.
So after receiving feedback, we modified it and we're ready to prepare the final model. For example, we added a color coding plate, as you can see, to distinguish the different medications. And also, we needed to think about the materials that we're using, because it's supposed to be shock absorbent and it should be durable. And as you can see in the videos, my family and my students really enjoying testing it, smashing it to the floor over and over again. Yes, that was the fun part of it.
Can I do a live demo?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
We are going to do this, or I'm stepping on it, or? Okay. Okay. I'm getting married. Okay, Mazal Tov. Okay, as you can see, stays safe, no problem. Okay.
And this is the final model that we developed, the one that Oren had. This one. And the beauty of 3D printing is that we have the freedom to design and customize according to specific need. And the best example is with the unit of 669, which is a rescue unit. Actually, their medical officer came to my house and they say, look, we don't need a shmarpula for the pocket. We need it for the vest. So take my vest, do the measurements, whatever you need, but I need a different case. Also, I need different medication sets. So please prepare me one that will fit my needs. And this is exactly what we did. Yeah. So we prepared them special for that unit. a special case for them with exactly their custom medications and what they need. So this is another example.
Why Schmarbula?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to explain, sorry. Yes. So we name it Schmarbula. Schmarbula is a combination of two words. Shmar is from shomer, from a Hebrew word protect, and pula is from ampulla. So, yeah, it's a case for protecting the ampoules. Sorry, forgot that. So the Schmarbula instigated a huge interest among the medical staff. I received so many messages from people at the field, and they asking those cases for the units. I need 20 cases, I need 30 cases, I need 50 cases. So we approached Jeff with this idea, and with his help, we got donations. With your help, we got the donations, and we established this mini bamboo farm. There are 10 3D printers from Bamboo Lab, that's the company, and they are actually working day and night printing those cases for all the medical staff in the military. So yeah. So now my students will pass along Schmarbula for you to see the products. And
Galit, are all the 3D printers in your lab?
yes, yes. Oh, no, you're right. I have two at my house because we're printing also at my house. We're checking new models, and actually we prepared the first model from a printer that was already in my house. It was an interaction between me and one of my students, back and forth, and after 2 days we had the first model.
Imagine beside the washing machine and the dryer is the Schmarbula machine that's creating these 3D
Yeah.
lifesavers. Thank you.
Yes. And I wanted to show you in the meantime one example of a thank you note video that we got from the field. We got so many, but
May I ask a question?
yeah.
Over here. Over here.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Alan Marcus from Austin, Texas. Isn't there a tremendous need for this for medics around the world,
Yes.
civilian and military?
Yes.
And couldn't this be?
Yes. Yes, it can be yes, it can be customized to different needs. Yes, yes. Also, we got approach from different company, different needs with this case because they saw it and they really like it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, sure.
One of the problems with those glass ampules is that when you break it off, you cut yourself frequently. You should build in a little snap-off thing.
We have it at the back. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
My name's Naomi. I'm from Toronto. I just wanted to know if these were reusable.
Yeah. Yeah. You can take replace the ampoules, clean them, and yeah.
Imagine, how long does it take to produce one on a 3D printer?
For this one, for the small one, we print 2 of them, as you saw in the video. Maybe if we can go back. It's on top of the video. We print 2 of them in around 3.5 hours. No, not working. Yeah.
So eventually you go to injection molding or something along that line.
Yes, the thing with the injection molding is we'll have to prepare a mold, and that's it. We cannot modify the design. And we got approached from several units. 669 was only an example, but each unit is coming to us and says, we need this, we need that, we need to add this medication or that medication. So with 3D printing, we are actually able to customize it and to change the model according to the needs.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is it from a cost-effectiveness standpoint relative to, either if it was available in the market, buying it because, 3.5 hours for 2 of them, it's a lot of production, but how is it economical?
With the printers, it's, it's one time you buy the machines and then you have them. Of course, there are consumables and things like that, but it's not that expensive. And the materials cost around 200 shekels for 1 kilo. And I think for one filament spool that we have around 15. So that's a lot.
Thank you.
I have a question over here.
Oh, sorry.
An amazing product.
Thank you.
Yes, I understand why you are supplying it to the IDF and the desperate needs that our troops need. You mentioned an international need. This is a product.
Yes.
Who's going to create the business on behalf of your effort for the benefit of BGU, buying 5,000 of these 3D printers and sell them worldwide for the benefit of your work, but it will help people all over the world?
I don't know.
Who would like to develop a company?
The answer, BGN Technologies is in the process of commercializing it right now.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay, yes. And as I mentioned before, we volunteered from day one, and we did a lot of products and print model for the hospital. I can give you an example. We print patient-specific casts for soldiers that got wounded. So we scanned their hands, sometimes the other hand, and we did like a mirroring and created a patient-specific cast and printed for them. We printed a lot of anatomical models for the surgeon to prepare to the surgery. We also printed some parts for the military. It was a box for a drone and some parts, things like that. And we also printed patient-specific corneal molds for bone reconstruction surgery, as if you would like to see here. So if a patient has a missing bone in the skull, we would prepare a mold that they would create a perfect shape for the implants in the surgery room. So those are examples, and they're here if you later want to see. And I'm very proud to being part of this community that step up and use their skills and resources for innovation and resilience. We saw the challenges of this war, and we came up with solutions, which some of which you saw today. I would like to thank the university for supporting us with all the crazy ideas that we had. We came to Jeff and the department and said, look, we want to do this, we want to do that. And then they said, sure, let's try it. So thank you very much for all of you for listening. And I would like to invite my friends and colleagues, Yanim, Shir, Talia, and Oren.
Thank you.